In this chapter, we are looking at 2 Trident Maples. I think these were dug out last year, so 1 full growing season and time for actually styling process. This one here, I'm not sure if you could see it, but the root is doing something funny so that it's distorted the container. So, well, both of them, I think I'll be taking it out and cutting part of the root and then repotting it in the same or similar container. These will stay as a material state rather than a finished state. But Tridents, especially this one, is so vigorous that a lot of times you dig it out, prune heavy, and sometime within 2 or 3 years, it's ready to become a true bonsai. Well, anyway, there's a few things that need to be done, but basically, I'm going to take it out of the container and see what that root is doing to distort it. See, the pot is not round, it's oblong now. So there's some big root pushing in that one direction. And while we're here, we will be taking this part out. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get started on this. See how vigorously this Trident Maple grows? All that fibrous root down below. It's kind of getting intertwined. So you know what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to take that reciprocating saw and cut off maybe 2-3 inches at the bottom and start from there. Next, I'm going to work on the root flare zone. See, a lot of times these get buried a little bit on the deep side for stability. I think I got a freebie here. Yeah, there's too much soil. We need to be able to expose more of the root flare. And this big root is what's giving us the problem. Well, it's not a problem if it goes into a rectangular pot, but in my round training pot that was pushing against the edge. I might be able to get it back in there by making this side shorter. Well, I'm trying to grow materials that people could work with, and so I'm trying not to put into bonsai pots. Okay, so that was the problem right here. But if we make this side a little bit less, it should fit in that container nicely. I'll cut this little guy off here and I'll be okay. We got another problem right here. This root is coming up, so I think I'm just going to cut across. There's a small root here, so I'm just going to cut this off, and then because this is really not going to do much except that it's going to always interfere. Well, cut that one off. It fits in that container nicely, so all I have to do is refill it and trim the top. Oh, maybe I'll trim the top now. Okay, I was going to cut off the left side there, and artistically speaking, I think it should come off, but for some reason my gut tells me don't do it yet. So I think I'm going to listen to my gut and not do it. But most likely this coming year or the year after, that side will come off. Okay, so at least I got it to fit in this container without bulging in one or two directions. I'm still thinking about that one branch. It's to our right now, and then as it spins around, it'll be to our left. Artistically speaking, it should just come off. I don't know why I would want to keep it, but those are the things that you got to deal with on a personal level. So I think this in about 2 years should look pretty good, and probably should find a decent bonsai container, or at least a intermediate like a mica. But you could see where the lines are, and so I think I'm puzzled at myself for not taking that off. Okay, I'll get to the second one. This is the second one. I think they got about the same time last year. So we had one growing season and everything doing well. This one, I think I cut very aggressively to force that taper and movement in really tight. You can see where all those big wounds are on this side here, and as it comes around, there's even more. So I did the major cuts, very aggressive cuts, sealed it, and I think it should start to heal over. So I'll show you how this gets trimmed. Basically remove all those things that's kind of sticking up, right? And then save what's going horizontal. The same old. These that's going up. These that's going up, cut them down. And then save the one that's going horizontal. Here's a nice one. Don't need this big one. And then save the horizontal. Okay, now we're getting to some. This one's going to try to compete with the apex. So let's just let them know who's the boss. This is the apex here, but I think I want this to thicken up first, so I will leave that for now. This one here is quite obvious. It's just going up. Same thing with these. At this point, you don't have to sit and overthink. Just get rid of the things that's going up, and then ta-da! Okay, you could see that I was very aggressive on these, right? But it's starting to roll over, so this will start to heal. I guess I should pull this out so I could show you the root flare that this has. You could see how great this root flare is. I think this was a fairly old one. If I'm not mistaken, it was very tall to get to this thickness. Well, that's why, well, from this side, you really can't tell. So I guess this is a good front right here. And then as we swing around to the back, you can see where I aggressively cut off all those big branches. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna cut off about 2 inches at the base. You see how all that white thing, that just roots that so vigorously and growing. So I'm gonna cut that off and put it back in the same container, but higher than it used to be so people could see the root flare. See, this is the back side, and you could see where I have aggressively cut, right? And because I did that early, I'll have a nice finished material sooner. A lot of people are afraid to do things when they should, and so it takes longer. So sometimes you want to be patient, other times you want to get in and do it. Okay, as you can see, I raised it up. I put the fresh soil on the bottom, and scraped off a little bit off the top to show more of the root flare. I think in the next year or two probably could expose a little bit better, but you can see that it has a nice movement and taper and plenty of sacrifice branches. It needs a decent apex, but it'll be here probably this coming year. So this will get put back in semi-shade area with plenty of new fertilizer, make it grow. So hopefully by then, all those big cuts that was done early, well, last year, will have started to recover. So this is going to be a nice looking tree in about another 2 or 3 years. Tridents tend to be really fast in terms of shaping, but you gotta be aggressive in the beginning. So all that harsh pruning, I think, will pay off in the next couple of years. So as this comes around towards the front again, this is Hero saying goodbye. Thank you for watching, and see you again real soon in another chapter. Oh yeah, and please tell all your friends. And if you don't have enough friends, tell your enemies. See you again. Goodbye.